Hey everyone, welcome back. You probably remember how in the very first episode of Demon Slayer, Tanjiro loses his entire family and Nezuko turns into a demon. That's when they encounter the water Hashira, Giyu Tomioka. Giyu almost kills Nezuko but ends up sparing her after witnessing the powerful bond between the siblings. But what if Giyu hadn't shown up in that episode? What if someone else from the Hashira showed up instead? Would Tanjiro and Nezuko survive? Or would their story end right then and there? My name is Ataru, and today we're diving into a wild set of alternate timelines where a different Hashira replaced Giyu in episode 1. So let's begin. Scenario 1. What if Obanai Iguro replaced Giyu? The moment Obanai sees Nezuko fighting Tanjiro, he'd jump in instantly and try to kill her. Tanjiro would somehow save her, just like the original timeline, and beg Obanai to spare his sister. But let's be real, Obanai isn't exactly the forgiving type. Given his traumatic past where his own parents offered him up to a snake demon, he's grown to hate demons with all his heart. So in this timeline, Obanai kills Nezuko in seconds. And when Tanjiro tries to fight back, Obanai probably kills him too. The story ends right there. No sun breathing, no Demon Slayer core hope. Muzan wins. Game over. Scenario 2. What if Rengoku replaced Giyu? If our beloved flame Hashira Rengoku had shown up, he would have also tried to kill Nezuko, thinking she was a threat. But after hearing Tanjiro's story and seeing their bond, Rengoku might hesitate. Given how deeply he loved his little brother, seeing the sibling love would hit home. He'd give them a chance. Not only that, Rengoku would train Tanjiro himself, which means Tanjiro would master flame breathing much earlier. And since it's closely related to sun breathing, he'd eventually unlock that too. By the time we get to the Mugen train arc, Tanjiro could actually stand a chance against Akasa, and in this timeline, Rengoku might survive. Scenario 3. What if Muichiro Tokido replaced Giyu? If the missed Hashira showed up, it would be brutal. He wouldn't waste a second. He'd immediately kill Nezuko. Tanjiro would try to fight back, but Muichiro, being emotionally cold due to his own tragic past, would likely kill Tanjiro too. There's a tiny chance that if Nezuko protected Tanjiro, he might spare them, but even if he did, he wouldn't train them. They'd be left to fend for themselves, and most likely die to a demon later. Scenario 4. What if Mitsuri Kanroji replaced Giyu? At first, Mitsuri would also try to kill Nezuko, but after hearing Tanjiro's story, she'd probably break down crying and call them adorable. She'd spare them and even train Tanjiro in love breathing. But let's be honest, Tanjiro is not compatible with love breathing at all. It doesn't match his combat style or nature. Eventually, Mitsuri would realize this and send Tanjiro to Rengoku for proper training, just like she once did. Scenario 5. What if Sanemi Shinazugawa replaced Giyu? This one's pure chaos. Sanemi sees Nezuko, he kills her on the spot. Tanjiro fights back. Sanemi beats him senseless but doesn't kill him. Now here's the twist. Seeing his sister die would fill Tanjiro with rage and hatred. That anger could lead him down a dark path. Eventually an Upper Moon might sense that darkness and turn Tanjiro into a demon. And guess what? He could become Upper Moon 1, replacing Kokushibo. Now imagine that version of the Infinity Castle arc. Muzan wins, no one can stop him, and Demon King Tanjiro conquers the world. Wild, right? Scenario 6. What if Tengen Uzui replaced Giyu? Tengen's flashy entrance would end with him trying to kill Nezuko instantly, thanks to his insane speed. But he'd later help Tanjiro take him to the core and explain that killing Nezuko was necessary. Tengen might not have shown mercy, but he'd make sure Tanjiro survived and trained properly. Scenario 7. What if Shinobu Kocho replaced Giyu? Shinobu may look sweet, but we know how much she hates demons. She'd definitely try to poison and kill Nezuko. But after seeing Nezuko protect Tanjiro, she'd recall her own sister Kanai, who once protected her. That memory might lead her to spare the siblings. She could even train Tanjiro in insect breathing and poisons. But since his style relies on raw strength, he wouldn't be able to fully master it. End result? Tanjiro would be way weaker than the original and probably die in the Nadagumo mountain arc. Scenario 8. What if Gyomei Himejima replaced Giyu? The strongest Hashira shows up, and as expected, he'd attack Nezuko. But if Tanjiro manages to protect her and tell his story, Gyomei, being the emotional giant that he is, would cry. He'd see the sibling bond and remember the orphan kids he once tried to protect. In this timeline, Gyomei spares them and personally trains Tanjiro in stone breathing, which is all about strength, perfect for Tanjiro. Eventually, Tanjiro would master sun breathing even faster and become strong enough to take down Muzan in one epic final battle. So those were all the crazy alternate timelines of what could have happened if different Hashira had shown up in episode 1. Which one do you think would have changed everything the most? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Demon Slayer what ifs. Until next time, be the best. Bye.